All right. Yes.
Did Cyrus really get an IMDb Pro? So we could put his picture up.
Probably. A lot of people did.
I saw Julie did too.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all stuff should go up. Now, again, I did all that.
Mm-hmm. And then I knew would match up. So, all right, are we ready? I guess so.
Okay. All right. I think we're live, or I think we're, yeah, it's working. So, all right. So I'm going to go live here.
Okay.
Everybody shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do this now, so I'll do it later. You can talk for a second.
I got a Pro a couple months ago because I have to submit that to the De La Mare engineering place that sells the squibs. Like, that's part of their submission.
That's dumb.
I was like,
all right, we're live. Cool. Okay. Stand by. Hey, here we are.
Hey, we're here.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
hello.
There is Chris.
What's up?
And Brittany. So we're just going to test this out today and see how it works. See if we like it.
Mm-hmm.
See if the visual aspect will lend to our constant complaining. But I actually do have a conversation starter that will probably lend to us using, the resources we have available to us. And it will be constructive, I think, because of the question that was bugging me last week. Anyway, we'll get into that. But before I forget to do this, welcome to anybody watching on the Upstart Filmworks channel and on my YouTube channel. All this will remain up, after we get done. And we'll hopefully try to continue doing this. But first and foremost, as some of you know, if you don't know, we're doing a private screening of Chris's film In the Blood that Brittany was the producer on.
Yep.
And that I pretty much did everything else on.
Wait a minute.
We're doing that in April, on April the 11th in Houston. And Steve Nichols, a good friend of ours, VFX guy, who's working on some stuff for us right now. He works on other films quite a bit. He lives in Vancouver. He bought 2 tickets to donate to give away for the screening. So if you are interested in doing so, in entering the drawing, I'm going to do the drawing, I think March the 6th is what I said.
Yes.
On the podcast that we didn't put out. So it doesn't matter what I said. Right?
Yeah. You can say whatever now.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to do the drawing on, I'm going to take these off because I know we sound fine. I'm going to do the drawing on March the 6th. And all you have to do is send a postcard or letter. I got a couple yesterday, so I know people are doing it. Send a postcard or letter to my office address, because the story behind that is I'm trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm getting my mail correctly. So I want you to help me suss it out. Help me be the Encyclopedia Brown here. So send a postcard or letter to my office address, and then also follow it up with an email to the Upstart Film Assistant email account, so that if for some reason your mail does get lost, I know you have an entry, and we'll do it on the honor system. So make sure you do mail something. But in case you're wondering what all those things are, enter to win. Where's it at? God, my eyes are going bad. Boom. Why are you laughing?
It's the sound effect.
Yeah.
Boom. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's the address.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And also, it has nothing to do with anything, but the mystery spot posters up there too.
Mhm.
I had to fill space.
I get it.
I mean,
I get
What
it.
a second poster. I mean, of In the Blood.
We did have one I could have put up too, but I think we're kind of holding back on that.
Yeah, I don't really want to. I don't want to unveil that.
We do
one
have
yet.
alternate art, which I think you've seen.
Yeah, we actually
with the axe, the red one.
Yeah, we actually have
Jeff
two.
No, I'll just show it to you.
There's actually two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because when he sent me the first version, so everybody write this down while we finish talking about this. He was like, "Oh, here's 3 ideas." It was like this one essentially, and then one that was more like old school Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And what was the third?
I think it was like he was going more on like the look from The Conjuring kind of.
Right. Yes.
It was more
now
like
I
the
remember
house.
that. I'll send them to you.
Yeah.
But they're cool. They're all. It was kind of hard to choose.
Yeah.
Because Jeff is really good at what he does.
Mhm.
All right, guys. So there's your opportunity. Send stuff in if you want tickets, because that probably will be the only time that the movie screens in not just Houston but Texas this year.
Yeah, Texas in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Towards the end, I think we may be able to talk about the world premiere.
Yeah. Okay.
But we'll save that.
Yeah.
For a discussion.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the question I put to you guys.
Oh God.
Okay.
I should have prepared you for it. So
should.
but I think it's I think it's something we can kind of talk out. And if anybody, one of us should on the phone, pull up this feed, see if people are interacting. Feel free to throw in your ideas and comments because I always have a problem with this. So there is a convention coming up that I can't mention yet because they haven't said anything about it, but we're going to do something for it related to In the Blood, but they've also asked me and you to do like a panels like type workshop thing. And in the past, when that's been presented to me, they usually go, here's what, or you're on with 5 other people and it kind of like, it's horror guys talking about making horror movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they'll give you a topic. But this time they were just like, well, what do you want to talk about? Or what do you usually talk? And I have done things like this. I've taught classes, I've taught video camps, but they're all very specific to the audience. Like, it's like, okay, here's how to show 12 to 14-year-olds how to make a short film in 4 days, right? Mm-hmm. And even if you move the ages up, everything you show them changes. Like I could show the older group of kids when I did that stuff, I could show them North by Northwest or whatever, a scene from it, and they'd totally get it. Yeah. Whereas if you show that to younger kids, they'd be like, what is this black and white? You know what I mean? They'd just tune out. So even that stuff would kind of have to change, but like the audience would kind of guide it. But when it's so open-ended like that, I'm like, well, what do you think people want to hear in a context like that, but also need to know? Like if it's people coming that want, we're going to assume it's not just John Q public looking to be entertained, because in nothing wrong with that. I've been that guy at conventions all the time, but in that case, you just tell stories and anecdotes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if these are people that are looking to make movies on an indie level, what information would you share with them? Like, what do you think would be the most valuable?
I think that's a hard question because I don't know. I guess it comes back to what level are they? And I know you're trying to say like they're not just general public, but they are sort of serious in it. Because to me, like what they should know and probably what they came to hear is completely different.
Mm-hmm. So I agree. That's what makes it hard.
Yeah, because you want to be able to give them, them leave and like, oh yeah, that's what I was expecting and that's what I want to hear. But at the same time, what they need to hear is a lot different, and you don't want to be, I'm thinking of like, any kind of athlete that's interviewed after they win a game, right? And they all say the exact same thing. Like you don't want to come and say the exact same thing.
First, I want to give thanks to God.
Yeah, right.
And
like,
the other team plays some good ball.
Yeah,
we just had to find the weaknesses.
Right.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to say the same thing. So that is hard. I'm going to have to think about what.
Well, if someone came to you and was like, Brittany, you are teaching this workshop and it's very specific. Like you can focus on what you do and what things you need done and what things you would want people to focus on. Like, what do you think? Like just out of the gate. Like if someone, let's just say Parrish Randall comes to you last minute.
Plug Parish.
Yeah, and this really it's a real story. That's why I'm
Yeah.
telling it this way. I was at Texas Frightmare Weekend. What year was it? It was Imago-ish.
Yeah,
era,
it
right?
was Imago, yeah.
And Parrish came to me and said, "Hey, man,
I remember this.
last minute, we need you to run this workshop for all these people that have paid to come to this filmmaking workshop.
Oh my God.
And you're the only person that we think could handle it." I mean, essentially,
Yeah.
Will you do it? And I was like, I guess. And at the time, I had maybe done the stuff at Aurora. Like I'd maybe taught film class, maybe a little bit, minus the stuff I had taught at Access, which was just like, here's how you edit, here's how you use this program or whatever. So I just had I had a 2-hour lead time, and just had to go in and run
and just start talking.
Yeah. What would you do? If it's a similar situation, what would you do?
Just in filmmaking in general, I feel like it would be how to get the most out of your budget.
Okay.
And the reasoning for that is obviously because I feel like the last 4 or 5 things that I've been on, that's been a problem. And I feel like there's a lot of mismanagement in budgets where people think that, they should spend all their money on this one thing. And there's a couple really important areas that needed attention, but, producer, director, whoever it is, didn't think that. And so it gets mismanaged. And whether your film gets done or not, I think, budgeting things correctly, not only, help your crew morale, but I think you get a better product in the end. So that's probably the direction I would go, was, where to spend your budget on that's most important, and, like things that you should compromise on depending on your budget. Like there's certain, you probably shouldn't have pyrotechnics on a very
low budget
shoot. You think about how to compromise that. So that would probably be my top pick.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty good. It's so wide ranging, I guess. And it definitely could keep you talking.
Yeah. Because there could be different specifics you could go on, right? Like budgeting for crew or budgeting for effect, but I think just in general, having like an hour conversation, I don't know how long the panels usually are, but having that conversation on where is your money best spent, and it could be for any wide range of budgets, for low budget or for high.
I agree with that.
And the where, even the where could kind of change depending on the project.
Oh yeah, easily.
Because it definitely has changed for things I've line produced and things that I've done. Like whereas on one movie I was like, oh, this is where we needed to. It never ends up in hindsight where we sent it where we sent the money where it needed to be. But where it needed to be was the target always moves on different projects. So okay. Chris, she gave you time to think. She had really good answers.
I know. I'm kind of like, but I was
you spent your time on your phone.
Well, I was trying to
maybe how best to.
Maybe we should talk that I have to set this up so that the way people might join us and come speak and let us know how they feel. No, I mean, I agree with what Brittany was saying. I think organization is a key thing. As far as like what to talk about. Hard.
I mean, Brittany took more of a macro, producer sort of look at it.
Yeah.
I think, especially with the stories you have, let me get me myself on camera here. I think especially with the stories you have, and what people probably never think, obviously they never think about it because you end up having to deal with it, is how to approach it logistically from an AD's perspective. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like how to clean up your desk, so to speak, in that realm. Yeah. And do the pre-planning so that when you hit the ground running, you only have to deal with the problems that present themselves in a normal way.
Exactly, definitely.
I mean, that alone, I think, would fill
I mean, just seriously, just to sit down and talk about prep alone. And just what kind of movie are you really making? Like, you need to look at that and treat prep as it should be treated. Like, don't go into it thinking, oh, well, I'm going to make this movie, but I'm not going to give anybody any prep, including the AD, including, and then expect us to get on set and it's like, we're going to fly. That's not the case. Like if you're not going to, that's something I would definitely think there should be. I could definitely tell probably 15 stories just in 1 week about that and elaborate each day. yeah, I mean, prep is key, and that's something that should be talked about.
And what that really means too, like what pre-production truly means. Because I've been on projects before where they thought they had done, you know, a month's worth or 2 months worth of pre-production, and in their mind it was just working on the script.
Same.
It wasn't, you know, really pre-production is everything that's going to involve production, and you know, whether it's location scouting, you know, scheduling, that kind of stuff, or you know, just working on your script for 2 months leading up to it isn't going to prepare you for.
No, I mean, and you need to give everyone the time. Hold on, I'm going to do this while he's doing that. You need to give everyone time to actually prepare. Like, it's not, you don't just call your ADs in and your director in, you know what I mean, and expect to get everything done. Like, you need to bring your wardrobe designer. You need to bring the people that need the time. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people skip over is that, you know, if you want to get in and start shooting like ASAP, I mean, not ASAP, but, you know, like within an hour range, I mean, you need to have your talent needs to go in for pre-fittings or fittings, not pre-fittings, but for fittings and all that, you know, so that way they are prepared and wardrobe knows, and the director is happy with what is on the talent. You know, the same thing with as far as like set decoration and stuff like that, like mood boards, all that stuff that really goes into making sure everything's prepared and ready to go for day one, you know. And that's all. I mean, you could do that within 2 weeks. You could more likely do it in a month, you know, and be prepared and have the director feel like everyone's on the same page, you know, and if you're doing effects, like how big do you want the effects? How small do you want the effects? How bloody do you want them?
And how
you know,
long
like,
is it going to take?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's also integral for the AD, because the AD needs to know that, you know, and be able to plan for, okay, so this effect is going to take us like an hour and a half. I've got a lot scheduled for that day. I need to make some space so that a way that we can make sure, because realistically, an hour and a half on an effect is probably more like 3 hours, you know. At least that's the way I do it, because it's like something can go, normally something goes wrong, you know. Either the sprayer doesn't spray exactly right at the first time, or like, you know, just name it, like as far as effects are concerned, and something goes wrong, you know, something doesn't set right, or it's too hot and this is taking a lot longer, or it's too cold and this is drying faster than I actually need it to, you know. So there's all those things you have to really think about. But yeah, I definitely, pre-production is definitely one thing that I see is always made a big mistake in independent filmmaking, because it's not spent like it should be. So there's that. But
we were just marveling over my lower third.
Oh, great.
I was like, "Ooh, I should throw that in."
Yeah.
Great.
Shit, man, I had a good segue from what you were saying, and then I got all up my own butt over graphics. But I started writing stuff down so we wouldn't forget. But
I mean, you just want general topics?
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is perfect, you know, because okay, I just remembered. Because I think, and I feel like this is what continually we encounter behind the scenes, like when we're production support.
Yeah.
Is that the only things that people think about, like what people come in with, they're like, they just want to hear the glamour, and just, I'm going to have a great idea, get my camera. It's Omar, I think, right?
It is.
Yeah. No, it seems like it. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a great idea, get my camera, get a few like-minded individuals, and just go out and make genius, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's all they think about.
That's all they think about.
You know, like the surface stuff, which is important.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that's what the person watching your movie is going to see or whatever, but it never goes beyond, it never goes very deeply into the logistics, the rubber meets the road type stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And while it may be boring or off-putting for some people to hear it, like that's the stuff that will make or break your production, or, you know, your budget, or whether the thing even gets done.
Right. And I mean, regardless if your director, this is a problem I've encountered before, is like, regardless of if your director thinks that pre-production is important or not, like you need to force them to do it, you know?
Yeah, for the director to not do pre-production
is insane.
That's unfathomable. Unfathomable to me.
I've seen it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't believe it happens.
Yeah.
But clearly it does.
Like, I've seen a director literally just be like, nah, you guys can figure it out. It's like, no, like, we need to know what you want, because if we start trying to figure it out and then on the day it turns into, oh, I don't like that, we need to change it. Well, wait a minute. Why didn't you look at this? Why didn't you agree upon it? You know, that kind of thing. That's all stuff that I can't, it's hard to believe, but it does happen. And I think that, you know, a good production staff needs to, if a director starts to act like that, they need to act on it immediately and kind of shut it down and be like, no, you're doing this. Like, you have to, it's your vision. You need to tell us what's going on, you know? But yeah, I mean, prep is very important, but also just on the day is important, you know, just being prepared, being ready for anything to go wrong. I mean, it's like, you know, what that bad apples when the fire marshal showed up, not on a bad thing, but like, he just showed up because he wanted to inspect, because they do that in LA, you know, like they do it anywhere really, but he wanted to just check and make sure we were in code, and we were, you know, we had everything, we just had to go grab it really quick. But, you know, it's things like that you need to be prepared for. You need to be ready to answer those questions, because if you're not, they could very well shut you down, you know, like easily. And, you know, it's just always be prepared for the worst, because if the worst doesn't happen, then you've done your job, in my opinion.
Right. And you know, not just it's still outside forces, but acts of God. You know what I mean? Like, what happens if you're doing exteriors and that's the day that it rains?
Yep.
Or, well, like when we were shooting the pickups for Mystery Spot.
Yep.
And like right when we got ready to go, it decided to just start raining. And had it rained much harder, we would have had to go to plan B. But I had a plan B.
Yeah.
It wasn't ideal, but I could have made it work.
Yeah.
But just, stuff like that could just ruin your whole day. And it's amazing to me that when those things happen, 9 times out of 10, the look on the person's face is, I never would have thought of this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and it's like, how, I don't know. I guess that's just, it's weird to me that some people don't think of that. But then again, I have to think about it that some of these people have never had to think like that. So I can't really judge them based on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, it's also just one of the topics I would definitely discuss is like the basics of filmmaking, you know, like what it really takes. I mean, not just budget, not, you know, like what you really need to have. And if you're a first time director, like talk about being a first time director, that would be something.
Chris, can you, pause your thought.
Pause.
And can you hit the middle and wide shot?
Got it.
Sorry guys, we're dealing with Canon issue. There we go. Yeah, we're back.
Both back?
Yep. Okay. So if you don't know, certain Canon models have a manual, automatic 30-minute shutoff.
Yeah.
And you can't bypass it, because if they can record more than 30 minutes of uninterrupted video, they are considered video cameras and they get taxed differently. So Canon has decided to take that route to bypass that particular level of taxation. There are ways around it, but they're kind of, I have one of them set up.
Yeah.
But it's a pain in the butt. So it's easier just to go, Chris, hey, can you
go do
hit
this?
that button real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying just showing people the basics of film, how do people learn the basics of filmmaking?
Yeah, well, and I mean, just like what it really takes. Like if you are a first-time director, and first-time directors is something else that should have its own, that should be its own damn panel. Like if you're a first-time director, you need to come in and sit down with an experienced director who will tell you kind of what you need to do to make sure your movie's successful, you know, and like, and when I say experienced, I mean somebody that's been around, has done it, has not just directed, but has also done other things in production, just so they can kind of give you the ins and outs of what to expect. So, because being a first-time director, if you're not surrounded by strong individuals, it can easily go down the tank quickly.
Right.
You know, like being surrounded by like a strong DP, a strong gaffer, a strong, you know, producer who may also be a director, you know, that can give you, if you start to fall back, like they can kind of pick you up and be like, hey, it's not a big deal. This is what you do to get around it.
So we'll do first time director boot camp.
Yeah, I think that's
actually a really good idea.
I think it's necessity.
And because it's like none of us ever, you know, a bunch of us old dogs will be on that movie and talk shit just because maybe it's coming out of jealousy or whatever. Oh, this fucking guy, how do you do this movie? But to be honest, none of us are there to make something that fails.
Right.
Or make a shitty movie. Maybe some people are just to get a check, but I doubt it. Like the people that we work with, I don't feel that way about.
Yeah, no.
So we all want to.
Hey, Justin, he's watching.
Justin.
Oh, okay. I was like, did he watch? Who's here? Yeah. So first time director boot camp. That's a good one. That's what I should have done. Damn it.
Yeah.
I've already submitted my panel.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is when we get done. But
okay. But yeah, I think that's necessity. I mean, really, like, and just that. That can become a lot of questions from people that are wanting to direct, you know, fired at someone like you, who has done this multiple times and can give sound advice. Ish. I mean, but better than like, you know, just going straight in and trying to figure it. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's how a lot of people do it. And that's how they figure out what this really takes, you know,
and the ones
take their licks,
that seem to stumble into success that way, it's generally a result of them having surrounded themselves with a really good team.
Yeah.
That kind of like getting Will Barrett, you know, as your DP, you know what I mean? Because he will help. Shout out to Will. He will definitely help you get you on the rails as to what you need to get to visually tell your story.
Yeah.
To make it work, to get you all the pieces you need, but without he will also be like, do you really need that? We're overshooting this. We already got it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like that is essential.
It's key. I mean,
and he's a guy that's eminently experienced and talented, that's bringing years of experience to it.
Right.
That's not letting his ego get in the way of helping someone make
a good movie.
Yeah. So that, I mean, there's like probably 5 guys like that I've met.
I was going to say,
they're rare, but they're out there. And when you find them, hold on tight.
Yeah, don't let go of them. I mean, for sure.
They're so important too.
Yeah.
Even as you get more experience, like those are the people you want in the trenches with you, I think. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say that's another thing to talk about is ego, but I mean that's something that
that's like the Saturday workshop where you're all sitting cross-legged, talking about mantras and stuff. I say that wearing a shelter shirt, but you know,
right? I mean,
but that is an important thing. But that's no one. It's hard to get people to listen to that kind of stuff, because either they're like, oh well, that's not me. They're not talking to me. They don't understand, my art.
Well,
and also. They don't. There was a number 2 to that. I don't remember now, but it's mostly that first one. So, but that stuff is important.
Yeah, I mean, stay humble. Like, don't,
because you have to be open to other people's input.
I mean, because this.
Well, that kind of goes. Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you.
No, please do.
Well, because I was thinking.
It's been a while since you're on camera 3.
For kind of another option is that sort of comes into another topic I was thinking of, which is like when to compromise your script. And a lot of that would be, maybe directors or whoever, and even DPs with like big egos.
Justin just said it's all true. Sorry.
Yeah. If
I know Justin.
Experienced it all.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have like a big ego and you really want something done a certain way and it just can't happen because of either weather or because of a stunt or something, and you just have to figure out a different way to shoot it, and egos might get in the way and say, no, we have to do it this way. I don't care what it takes, and that's gonna it'll be bad later because you're either gonna affect your time, affect your budget, compromise your actors. So I think it's it'd be a good way to, what situations do you need to sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to take input from other people. How do we fix this problem? I mean, we've been on sets where you're in the middle of shooting and you have to figure out, how to rewrite a scene almost to make something work. And that's hard for, I think, a lot of first-time filmmakers because they, have such a strong vision and they're not used to seeing it evolve from script to production
Right.
to editing. So that
Yeah.
would be,
The script is that's another panel, but we'll go over
so
that.
many panels.
See, yeah, they're just all coming out.
But I mean, the script writing panel is important. I mean, because your script is a living thing. Like it breathes. It's gonna breathe. You're gonna have to change things. You're gonna have to compromise, even at the multi-million-dollar level. Like, you have to compromise. There are sometimes there's just things that get in the way, and you can't control it. Albeit an act of God, albeit, some crazy thing happened on set, and so we have to readjust for time. So you just have to be ready for that as a director, and be ready to adjust and make those changes and think what will better suit or make it work better, that kind of thing. Yeah, first time director boot camp is a wonderful idea. I think we should maybe copyright that right now.
Yeah. Classes enrollment will start, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Monday 8 a.m.
Yeah.
I'd love to, but like it kind of goes to the ego thing. No one, the vast majority of people don't want to check themselves enough to think that they would need that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you only find out when you need it
when you get on set.
When you're wasting money, people are waiting on you,
and people are getting very frustrated.
There's a tank stuck in the basement.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times that crossed my mind in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Everything you guys are saying, I was like, oh man, the tank thing, that's the perfect example.
It is, because we had to sit there and think, we didn't have any other shots
to
shoot if that didn't work, and it didn't work. So we had to, rewrite the script basically.
Yeah. Chris basically gets to stand there and stare at a freaking tank that's stuck in a basement, and it starts pouring down rain. It's like, great.
It's like everything that could go wrong did.
Yeah.
And being on the other side of that, like, I knew how much money from nothing happening, still how much money was being spent, you know? So it was a movie's worth of money
for just that tank.
Yeah. Just that day, everything that happened, So, you don't want to be in that situation.
No, you don't.
What about, you said script writing, and it made me think of what you were thinking of doing for yours was like just basic, like,
format.
Here's how you format it.
Yeah. Brittany and I just ran into this, actually. It's one of the reasons that I brought it up.
Yes, I had a script writing. So I took a script writing class in college. And I remember that teacher being so anal when it came to format. If we had like a period out of place, we would fail. Like, he was that bad. He sat down in class one day after we turned in a project and just yelled at all of us because no one came in with a perfect script. And I remember thinking then, just like, okay, calm down. It's not like coding. And then I obviously realized how much more important it was as I started getting into filmmaking. But it wasn't until I think this project that I realized that it is like coding, and every period is important, and the formatting is important, and it drove. I've never been more frustrated with the format of a script. Even as a script supervisor, I've received some that have had problems here and there, and I can fix them. But to just have one that was completely wrong was, like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yeah.
It really is important. And it's not just so that people can read it, because it was actually hard to read as out of format as it was. But for every department has to have a format for a reason, every department is looking for something in a certain spot. And, all of our softwares that we use now to help break down, need it in a format that's very specific. And it's not like there's 100 formats.
Right.
There's one format, just learn the one,
Yeah. That was one of the things that I've been becoming more and more frustrated with, is that I'll get a script, it's sent to me, and the most simple of formats are messed up. It's like, I don't understand how you don't understand how to click action, you know what I mean? Or to, click, title, or, any of those things.
Or just what a proper
scene
heading
heading
is.
Yeah. Scene heading.
We have interior and exterior labeled for a reason.
Exactly.
And that's because those are different scenes and different lighting setups, and it's just
Yeah, and is it day or night? You know, like that's another thing. Like understanding what that means in your script, like especially on your level, like with script supervision. Like it's like if you write in there that it's day in one scene, then it's night in the next scene. Okay, well, what's your cut point, and how does that make sense? You know, how do you go from a day scene to directly to a night scene? Are you going to have like a shot that shows the sun going down? Are you going to have like what's going to make that become night in the script?
And I've seen first time, you know, directors and writers not understand really the importance of that, because they think, well, it's day and then it's night and then it's day again, but well, this character isn't in that scene, so it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter.
It totally does.
It would be like in real life, you know, those people aren't going to be wearing the same things. They might look more scruffy, you know, something major might have happened during that time and they might have a scar now. Like it is important to, on every level, to know what your script days are.
Right.
And if you, like you said, if you don't have that in your mind writing it, it's not going to transfer to the script. It's not going to transfer to everyone else, and it's a problem.
By the way, I asked Justin, just wanted to cut in really quick. I asked Justin if he had any ideas. He goes, I ain't got no ideas, but he misses us. So we miss you too,
We
Justin.
miss you too.
Yeah,
I really wish I
Justin.
could have brought you into. I mean, although we had everybody we needed, but it would have been nice to just have Justin there, get the band completely back together. So we'll need to do that soon, somehow. For sure.
But yeah, I agree that the formatting is very much so something that needs to be discussed and made sure people really understand what it takes and what you need to do to make sure it's right. And it's not just day night. It's also like bruises. It's also like anything like that you're writing into your script. Like I actually just recently saw a script where like in one scene she has a knife, and then the next scene, it's like the knife just disappears. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense, because it's not like she gets it knocked out of her hand or anything like that. Like, it's just knife, no knife. It's like, how does that work? You know, and part of that is going back to script supervision, and you kind of look at it and be like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. I would also ask the question while I'm doing a breakdown, like, hey, should this scene have a knife in it or not? Like, I don't understand why we don't have the knife.
So does that mean that you're not interested in my new script, Ghost Knife?
I mean, wait, is it a ghost with a knife?
No, the knife is a ghost.
The knife is a ghost.
Europeans wouldn't ask those questions, Chris.
Well, I'm not European, so.
But that goes into like a good, you know, week-long panel where your script format then goes into your that's a horrible. Your script format goes into prep work, because you know, if you have, like you said, a knife or bruise. The bruise is probably a better example. But you know, if she has a bruise because she got hit, you need to know in your breakdown, like makeup needs to know what days does she have a bruise? Is it going to heal? Does it get worse? You know, and because they need to know if they need extra time with that actor or actress. You know, on the days that you're filming that. I mean, that plays a huge part in it too. So, or if you need, you know, like a flamethrower or something. I'm just trying to think of something that you might need to rent.
A guitar flamethrower.
You know, like you might need to rent it for multiple days, depending if it's in multiple scenes. So the script format is broken down correctly for a reason.
Right, and then that might guide, because everything cascades. So it's like if it's something like that that's probably not cheap, or a tank. You want to put that means those days probably should go together.
They should be
combined. May not have.
Exactly.
So it's like there are all these elements that come out of you having things properly formatted, that then lead to like spiderweb out to every department. I mean, and how they look at everything. So,
but yeah, I mean, literally, it goes from doing the script format and everything like that, and making sure that everything's correct. She's absolutely right. It trickles right back into, and it just breaks out like from that. So that's one of the reasons why the script is also a living thing. I mean, it has to be right. It is the Bible, essentially, when you're making a movie,
It's supposed to have all the answers.
Yeah.
To any question that's being asked by any department.
Exactly. And really, the point of it is for it to be a Bible and for it to have the answers, is so said department doesn't have to come to the director and be like, hey, what about this? You know what I mean? It's in there. did you read the script? Essentially, you know, like it's like with Mystery Spot, it was completely lined out. Like there was no need for question. It was there, you know. And
I do fuck up the scene transition sometimes.
You do.
because I'll get into.
Yeah.
I know that's something, and it's always been a problem. But I'll forget, and you're good at that. That's why I'm like, I have to say sometimes I'm like, should I? Chris will catch it. You know. But that is one thing I know I do. But you catch it, so it's like I know.
Going back to having a good team,
right,
surrounding you.
Yeah. But I try to hit everything else correctly.
Yeah, but I mean that, like, you know, a scene transition isn't as important as like this person should have a bruise and the bruise should be getting worse, or you know, or this actor who's in this scene, in the next scene the actor's not there. Where the hell did the actor go? You know, like this makes no sense. I mean, it's things like that
actor went back to California.
Right. But no, it's things like that I see all the time that drive me kind of nuts, because I'm like, guys, this should be the Bible. This should be your answer to everything, and no crew member should have to come up to the director, because literally it's like, hey, look, it's in there. It says this happens, you know. So that's something that I think is very important as far as formatting and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Looks like Justin wrote a chunk there. What's that?
He did. He goes, I wish I could have made it there for Mystery Spot. The pics from it looked great and like a lot of fun. And it was.
Yeah. It was.
And
true story.
We do wish you would have been there for sure.
Yep. I just got a chunk of music from Josh. I wanted to listen to it. I got it last night, waited till this morning to download it. And I was like, I'm going to watch it before they get here. But I haven't, because I knew that I'd go down, I'd watch it over and over and get all sucked in and then be like, oh shit, I have to set up. So I look forward to watching that. But it's like the longest pieces that he sent so far for the 61 and then the long convo at the table.
Yeah, nice.
You know, so heavy duty stuff.
Yeah, the heavy hitters.
Yeah, so I cannot wait. I love you, Josh. It's so on point.
So something I was just thinking about when you brought up score.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously this is not in my wheelhouse, nor do I ever want it to be in my wheelhouse. I'm not a musician per se. I mean, I did play music in high school.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I played the tuba in high school. Like, sure, I can say I've played the instrument.
Tuba score.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Maybe for Ghost Night.
Ooh.
Okay, so what were you saying?
So anyway, it's important, and it's something that, you know, obviously I couldn't ever go into a panel about, but I mean, I could speak on it from a director's standpoint and like what happens and why the score is so important. And you should kind of have an idea of what that score is going to be as you're writing, as you're directing, even, you know, so you can hear it in your head and kind of feel what you're seeing. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Just to make sure your beats are right, you know, as far as that's concerned.
Right. Like something that maybe it's like thinking about the more esoteric aspects of putting your movie together, that people, again, it's not the glamorous stuff. It's not like this is going to be a money shot and this is the coolest editor transition in the world. But then you're not thinking about the other ways to get into and out of the, 75 other scenes in your script, and getting material that's going to like make it look professional and get you in and out of something.
Right.
One thing that someone said, it was a weird criticism, and I've gotten a lot of them for Psychic Experiment, trust me. But like when we were talking with the people that bought it in the foreign space, we were all having lunch. It was out in LA, and they're like, we really wish there were more exterior shots, like establishing shots. And at the time I was like, what fucking stupid Hollywood bullshit is this? But I get what he said, now with time, I'm like, oh yeah, I get what they were saying, because that's something we just didn't think about. And a lot of it was because we're one house was 4 places.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
like, it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because it's jarring if you're just somewhere else.
Right.
And it's when you put it together, it's one of those things also you don't really get until you start editing your movie or seeing what the editors doing with the movie, and you're like, why does that not work? And it's something can be as simple as that. So so stuff something like that. It's like thinking about the music and the editing, or even like not necessarily visual effects, because that's a whole other thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
But things that are going to help you in post production.
Yeah.
Room tone.
Yeah.
Which could also segue into where to use your budget.
Yeah,
you're right.
Although I do think, I mean, for those people
we're coming together with a nice little curriculum here for the Upstart Film School.
Yeah,
established 2020.
This might happen. Obviously, still not in my wheelhouse. Nor do I actually never want it to be in my wheelhouse. Well, no, this is another
something
thing.
else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, also outside the wheelhouse.
Yes, visual effects. I mean, I don't have the patience for it. Don't care to have the patience for it. I still wonder how you and Brittany do it sometimes.
Brittany, I don't really.
It.
Yeah, the things I do are just like, and really, it's like the things I know how to do, I've learned with great resistance.
Yeah,
and it's only just to get me out of trouble, basically.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I still, even if it's something I can easily do, like, okay, oh shit, this is kind of spoilery, but I've just edited in my head to not be. There was a picture we put out recently that I had to go fix something on because it gave something away about the movie, about Mystery Spot. And it was the simplest thing to do. Clone stamp, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, son of a bitch, god damn it. Like the whole time.
Yeah.
It took me 10 minutes. But, like, I just, my brain does not work like that. That's why I'm happy to have people like Brittany, people like Steve, who's working on shots for us right now, that have that mindset, and it's just a certain kind of
it's just like
skill set.
Yeah, it's just like sitting down and going frame by. I know you love it, Brittany, and I'm happy you love it, but my God, I could not go frame by frame and just do the same thing over and over again. It's just it's too much.
It's come a long way now, so there's very not. Well, I don't want to say there's very few times, but I mean, there's a lot of things you can do now where you don't have to go frame by frame. But I mean, it's almost like an instant gratification, even though that's also wrong, because sometimes it'll take 8 hours to get something done. But it just doesn't feel like that much time has passed. And then when you're finished, it's just, I don't know, that instant, that type of gratification is just really cool for me. So
gotcha.
That's why I like it.
So I'm going to ask Brittany a question. While I do that, do you mind hitting, just to keep it on, because it's about time to reset?
Sure.
1 and 2.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you. So do you think that, with that said, do you think if Paris Randall came to you and was like, okay, Steve Nichols got the runs and he can't teach this visual effects class.
Is it good?
Yeah, you just pop them. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Do you think you'd be able to not necessarily teach the same stuff he was going to teach, but like give people in sort of an entry level overview of what it takes, what you need to think about, how best to get the assets that you need to do it right?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel pretty strongly that I could now. There was a time that I felt like I could get things done, but they may not be the correct way to do it, or there's probably an easier way to do it. Yeah. But then the more that I would, watch other videos of how to do it, the more I realized that no, I was kind of doing it correctly, or there's two different ways. Like everybody kind of has a different way. But as long as you know what your tools do, they always say that for Photoshop. Like if you can just learn what all the tools do, then it's easy to incorporate them into whatever effect you're trying to do. And so to me, that would be where I would start in what tool. But there's so many now, I know that there's so much still that I could learn and that I'm trying to learn. And it'll probably always be that way, especially since they're always updating and changing things and making it a lot easier. But I would say, there's definitely thinking back to where I was maybe, 6 or 7 years ago, I don't have to look up a whole lot of stuff now. Like I can easily, produce something depending on the effect of what it is. So usually now if I'm having to look up something, it's because I know they've come out with a new plugin that would make it a lot easier to do. So yeah.
Cool.
Animation would be the only exception to that. That's like
That's when hopefully Steve would get over it, like pop a few
Yeah,
Pepto-Bismol and get back in there, and that's his
Yeah.
thing.
I can take 3D renderings and manipulate them all day long, but creating the 3D renderings
That's
or
something
even
else.
2D animation, and I know even After Effects has done it has made that so much simpler, but that's not something that I've tapped into yet. I would love to, because I feel like you can do
Brittany's VFX Jamboree.
Nice.
But it's the animation is what are they, like 1202 of Brittany VFX Jamboree? It's not entry level.
Yeah.
For sure.
1202
Yeah.
instead of 1200.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and you might as well add up put some sort of editing thing up there as well. I mean, if you're going to do VFX, because editing, a good editor is worth its weight in gold. Like, to be completely honest, I mean, sometimes editors will literally take what you've shot and mix it up a little bit, and your story changes, but for the better, you know. So I definitely think a good editor is important, and this is something I've always preached, is that any director needs to edit something at least once.
I 100% agree. That is my dining license argument for movies.
Yeah.
You know, like where I would, from waiting tables for so many years, it's like, before you can go out to a restaurant, you should have to do a week of waiting tables.
Absolutely.
So get a dining license.
Yeah. Yep.
And before you can go. Yeah. And
just so you know.
I feel the same way about, you don't have to be an editor or even do it well, but you need to get an idea of what it's like to take that stuff.
Absolutely.
And get, see what you need and what you don't need and what you needed but you didn't get.
Yeah.
And go through that process, because it changes the way you think about what you need and, what you get on set and what you definitely make sure you have time for.
Yeah.
What's going to kill you. So yes, I 100% agree.
And
Can I ask like a random offshoot question of this, just to get an opinion, because I feel very strongly about it.
Okay.
Y'all will know which direction I'm going.
This sounds good.
Yeah, let's see where this takes us.
Well, it's not. It's just it has to do with slating. So directing, I know, because it's a thing.
Yeah.
So if you're directing it and you're going to edit it, is slating still important?
Absolutely.
Why? Tell me, Chris.
Why is it still important?
I just want to hear it from someone else, because it is so important to me, and it is a pet peeve of mine to be on a set that won't slate. And I just recently was, and they were like, "It's okay, the director's going to edit it. It doesn't matter." And it frustrates me. I'm sorry, I'm taking over.
No, you're fine.
Chris?
No, you should know. I mean, the slate is your guide to the Bible. Like, no matter what, even if a director thinks he knows what he shot, he's going to spend 10 more hours.
Right. That adds so much time
for
to
footage.
Like, I guarantee you, when that person gets in the editing suite and starts going going through, ingesting everything and trying to label it, he will be, because this happened to me, because on my first couple of things, I don't remember when I was like, just kind of like, it's got to happen. But I definitely was like, okay, this is the first thing that goes, we're wasting time or whatever. And when I edited whatever it might have been Closet Space. I don't really remember. It probably was, though, because it was something bigger. I wanted to shoot myself in the head for doing that, because it made everything so much more complicated when I was trying to organize things to do the actual edit and find things and figure out what was good and what wasn't. Because that is really the only guy. How else are you going to know? I
don't know. That's my question, because I always thought maybe it was just me being, strict, because as a script supervisor, that's how I make my notes, right? But I can't tell you, probably 9 out of 10 sets that I've been on, they just don't think it's very important. And whether it's because the director's going to edit it, well, you might think so, and then get halfway through it and need to pass it off to someone, and then how are they going to know?
Right.
Or when if you take it to a sound mixer, they still kind of want to know it. Like you can't. I can't even form words at this point, because it frustrates me so much. And the time thing is what I get from most directors on set. Like, we don't have time for that. I'm like, we just waited 30 minutes for a light. It's going to take
really,
literally
how much
15
does it,
seconds to slate.
Yeah, what do you mean you don't have 2
Unless
seconds
you
to put a
have
slate in the frame?
Stupidly lit a fuse on something that is about to...
No, so tail slating is fine,
Right.
but there are, and Chris knows that I only have 3 instances ever for tail slating, because the percentage of actually getting a tail slayed in is like 10%.
Yeah.
But there are those times, and I just feel like it's a very amateurish move that you see with a lot of either egos, or you see a lot of with new directors, and it was put in place a long time ago. There's a couple things that are old school that I feel like maybe aren't necessary, but that was put in place a long time ago for a very good reason.
Just so it's not just us three telling you that you're absolutely correct. Justin has also responded, you need to freaking slate. It's just lazy not to.
It is. It is probably one of the most infuriating things that I can think of happening on set for me.
Yeah.
Right. I think I've summed it up best in the course title for Brittany's VFX Jamboree 1204. Slate, damn it.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you. That's exactly
but I mean,
it. It's perfect.
You answered that
And
question.
a prerequisite is Brittany's VFX Jamboree.
Yeah,
So
you have-
1200
yeah, you have to
before
go
you get
1200.
1204.
Yeah. But no, I mean, you kind of said the same about that as far as like it being the guide to the Bible of the book, of the script. Because it's like, if you don't slate, your script supervisor is basically just saying, okay, well then this is this shot, but I can't tell you where it goes. You know what I mean?
A good script supervisor like me is still going to slate it in her notes.
Well,
You're going to have no idea.
It's not going to go any. That's what I mean.
That,
yeah, it's not going to go to anything, regardless if you slated in notes or not. But like, I mean, they can look for the clip.
But I can't tell you how many
but
times
not
that
helpful.
like audio clips have gotten out of sync with video clips, and so to sync those, which there are a lot of productions that sync them together, and so they don't have to use that. But I mean, if there were ever a problem in post-production, it would take you hours, like you said, another 10 hours to figure out where this clip is. Maybe it was missing, and how are you going to know that was the clip that it was missing on? So
yeah, I can't. The only way that I was, because we're pretty much picture locked on Mystery Spot, minus like very small things, but the only way I was able to get through that fast was because of those things. Slate, your notes, because I could find, I mean, I remembered a lot of stuff, of course, but how to find it when you're looking at just like the file name's this long, you know what I mean? And every thumbnail looks the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I was able to, that's how I was able to blaze through that so fast. It's like I had points of reference.
Exactly. Well, and you as the director, like, can then turn to Scripty and say, hey, make a note for that slated clip that there's a specific thing I want, that I want to make sure I use in the edit. That's another reason why the slate's important. By the way, Justin, again, is chimed in. He just wants to let everybody know.
He just want to be number 4.
Yeah,
he pretty much is. He kind of is.
Yeah.
You're already indoctrinated.
You're just like Skyping in.
Yeah, he goes, and I've said the same thing many times about anyone that wants to direct should have experience editing. They need to understand that process as well. So yeah,
100%. That's super important.
So, he's got to get out later.
Yeah, we're gonna probably wrap it up in like 3 minutes or so, like a solid hour.
Yeah.
So, but thank you, Justin.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, so
are you gonna reveal what your?
Yeah.
What is your panel about?
So, because I started thinking about thinking like this, but trying not to get it. I don't want to say too dry because that's pejorative. I don't think that this stuff we're talking about is dry.
Yeah,
but it's eye rolly to people that don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like get people excited about whatever it is, right?
Right.
But I also was trying not to do the same shit you always see or turn it into like basically an excuse to jerk myself off.
Right.
Look at the stuff I did and how amazing I am, So, and I was like, okay, what's good? Like meat and potatoes, stuff that people would need to know that you wouldn't just get from watching a YouTube, or something that I find is lacking from a lot of behind the scenes or YouTube videos or whatever.
Yeah.
So I decided to do, what did I call it? I called it from the, pulling the material from the immaterial.
Oh.
And it was, I know, it's college boy. But I decided but basically what it is what I would do. And I did a version of this with some of my older film camps, the ones that were like 15 to 17, because they could really get their heads around it.
Mm-hmm.
But how it would go from a sequence in a scripted sequence, maybe even how I got there, what inspired it, to the storyboards, to what we shot, to what the final sequence is.
Yeah.
So like what it started at, what it became, and how we got there, and specifically stuff that's difficult, like hive chamber stuff.
Yeah. Good.
Anything that's like visual effects, or just one of the things. And I think what also inspired me to do this was Cartoonist Kayfabe, which is a YouTube video I watch a lot, a YouTube channel I watch a lot. They covered the issue of Miracle Man, where Miracle Man he basically slings the mad scientist up into the stratosphere, and then the guy rockets back there, catching on fire. The thing that inspired the end of Psychic Experiment.
Yeah.
And I thought of that, and I was like, well, if you just saw that written, because so many people are like, how did you figure out how to do that?
Yeah.
Right. If you just saw it written, you'd be like, how would you do that? And not just how is a lot easier to answer now because of what we can do in movies, but how on a $150,000 budget
do you do that?
Do you do that? So I could take people through that and then actually show it to them.
They can actually
like,
see
this is what we did, and these are the pieces we had to get, and this is what Adrian had to do. So it's basically based around that, and sequences like that, and maybe not all just like complicated VFX stuff, but also like in I can't give that away really, but Scene 61 type things. You have a lot of people doing a lot of things from different places. And there's scenes like that in every one of them. I mean, I always seem to write one of those for some stupid fucking reason.
Hive chamber.
Yeah, so that's why I call it the hive chamber scenes. But scenes like that, where it's like in your mind, you don't think this is going to be difficult. It's just people talking.
And then,
and then you're like, well, how do you properly cover that and sell it with all the pieces you need and tell the story to someone that doesn't know what's going on?
Exactly.
Someone from the outside looking in. So that's kind of what I'm focusing in on. And I might show a little bit of that scene, because I think it's a good example of that, where it's like there's not a whole lot going on, but there's a whole lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of my angle, because I think that's something you don't really get a lot of.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be something that's not like cliche in a festival. People don't specify in that area. So that's cool. I like it. Yeah. Cool.
Would work.
I think I'm just joining in on a script writing panel. So I don't know if they haven't given me all the details, but if something changes and it looks like I'm like heading it, then I'll figure all that out.
Cool. Format.
Yep. That is something we will be talking about.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, in our script writing panel.
So would you like an example of a...
Actually, I was going to see if maybe we could bring you in as well as a guest. I'm going to try to talk to him just so you can speak from like the supervision.
If I can come out from a curtain with like applause. And
it's a jamboree.
The jamboree.
It's a jamboree. I mean, we got to have what is that instrument? The
banjo?
No.
The tambourine.
The tambourine. We got to have tambourines.
Oh, okay. I was going for like the jug.
No, yeah. I mean,
and like I'll get one of those brooms that's in a bucket with a string on it.
We just all come out in Blues Brothers,
Yeah. That would be awesome. But I think, honestly, that's something that people don't think. We've said this a million times, but you don't think about what a script supervisor does.
How important that
until
really
you
is.
have had one and then don't have one, or have one for the first time and go, holy shit! See how it sort of changes your experience.
See the amazing.
That's an aspect of the crew that people don't think about a lot.
Let me throw in an iteration of that though. A good script supervisor. Let's make sure that's clarified. Because a bad supervisor can really, really screw things up.
Right.
Well, just waste money.
Yeah,
really.
That too.
So here we have that. You can't see the top ones because of that glare, but I'm glad we did this because I got to fix that tomorrow. So we've got where to use our budget, prep and pre-production work, first time director boot camp, script formatting, which also ties back into prep and pre-production work, Brittany's VFX jamboree, and we've got like 4 breakout sessions from that, I think, editing and slate, damn it. Which seems like it shouldn't be a whole workshop, but it probably should be.
Well, because you need to know how to slate properly.
And what it does for you.
Yeah.
Like probably showing some examples of like when you did and when you didn't.
Right.
a good list. And then my script to screen thing. We'll see how that works. I mean, again, that was just something that I thought people might want to hear.
Yeah, no, I
we'll
like
see
it.
what the response is.
It's definitely cooler than. It's definitely more original than anything I've been to at any of these.
And I think it's a good, it hits a good target to where if it's a younger audience, they could still get into it because it's still the process.
Yeah,
and
that
there's
people are wanting
reference
to do.
Well, and I think a lot of people who might have like a really cool film idea may have like one of the first ideas they come together with is a intense scene. You know, whether it's an action scene or a very intense dialogue scene, and so those are important scenes. A lot of times, maybe even a climax of the movie that you need to make sure is worked out really well. And so it would be interesting to see. Like, I think it kind of touches on all of them almost, too, like where to compromise and have pre-production the scene so you know how to shoot it and where and whatnot. So that's cool. I like it.
Cool. I'm pretty good at being a genius aggregator, I guess. That's my line. So we'll probably wrap. I mean, we're going for an hour.
Yeah.
So on that, I told you I had a good question.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
So we'll wrap it up here. But these videos will live on the YouTube channel and on my Upstart Filmworks Facebook. So if you have suggestions, throw them in there because we're still putting these together. So we could always incorporate stuff, or who knows, or if there's something we've mentioned that
you want us to expand upon.
Right. There's a certain aspect of it that we may not think about. Please let us know. So one more time, if you are interested in coming to see Chris's movie, here's the info. You can go to my website, the ticket link. You just click on the In the Blood poster, and it will tell you where to buy tickets. If you are interested in entering the raffle, then here's the info for that. Just send a postcard or envelope. Doesn't matter what's in the envelope. I mean, stick some money in there. It's fine. Or just a note that says, "Hi, don't send me money. And don't send me your scripts either. No unsolicited scripts."
No.
And send it to this address, my business address, and then send me an email alongside that so I can know that you sent something. And then if for some reason we don't get your submission, I'll just print your email out and put it in the drawing. And I'm doing the drawing on March the 6th, I believe. So there's that. And then, so in closing, do you want to talk about the premiere? I guess, do I know more info about it than you do?
I mean, if there's something that you haven't, you're talking about the actual premiere.
Yeah, the Germany thing.
You definitely know more about that than I do.
Okay.
Because you've been in contact
I'm exporting it for upload now in the other room. So the world premiere of I keep doing it.
I do
In
too.
the Blood.
Yeah, In the Blood.
The world premiere of In the Blood will be at the Weekend of Fear in Germany, which is May the 9th and 10th of this year, and it's in Erlangen, Germany. Erlangen. They specifically asked to premiere it, so awesome. Thanks, guys. Now that's our private screening is April the 11th in Houston, but that's private. It's a benefit screening. Cast and crew and a few close friends. It's a benefit to help support my assistant Caitlin, who's dealing with her battle with cancer right now. I saw her yesterday. Proof of life.
You're good.
Yeah, she's doing pretty well, actually, all things considered.
Awesome.
Yeah, Tal and Kim were there, holding it down. So friends from Cypher.
Yeah.
So she seems to be doing okay. She has to go in for another treatment this week, I believe. Her hair is starting to fall out. She's kind of bummed about that.
Yeah.
But, hopefully she won't have to go through it for too long. So the private screening does benefit a good cause. So please, if you're in Houston or nearby and want to check it out, tickets are a little over half gone, so jump on it. If you want the info, here, let me just go ahead and put this up for you.
One more time
as we leave you. There's the event info. Our world premiere is going to be in Germany in May, and then there's a couple of things after that we're
waiting on
putting together. So it will start making its way out into the world, and so we're pretty excited.
It's going to be awesome.
Any final thoughts from you guys?
No.
Slate damn it.
Slate damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck cancer. I'll definitely say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can co-sign that for sure. All right. So hopefully we'll do this again soon. It seemed to work out pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right. So we will see you next time. Literally see you
Literally
next time.
see you. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Adios.
Bye.